Hi, welcome to Jules Under the Kilt. I'm the nut lady from Fergus, Ontario, that is. I did you know that I grow nuts? Yeah, we grow nuts in this country. In Canada, we grow nuts from Newfoundland to BC. Everything from almonds, pine nuts, walnuts. The only thing that we don't grow, but I'm not going to say that's impossible because anything is possible. The only thing we don't grow are the tropical nuts. So, something like a cashew, which is a tropical fruit, we don't grow that here. Macadamias, we don't grow that one here either. But um, I am confident, at least I've worked out the science and the background with AI, because who doesn't want to try working with AI? Um, and I've done a lot of work that way. So I've worked out the possibility that we could possibly run a geothermal greenhouse. So let's get rid of some of the added expenses of using hydroelectric power, and having your lights on all the time or whatever, and using wood for heating, and get it into the environment. So we would use water and geothermal power. So water, wood to heat the water that would go through the greenhouse to create that subclimate subtropic climate that is necessary to do cashews and macadamia nuts. And I'm pretty sure those ones, if we set them out in a greenhouse, it is very possible that we can do it. I mean, in BC, they're already doing fruit like grapefruit, oranges at a larger scale, almost a commercial scale, in greenhouses to sell. A lot of that fruit doesn't come this direction. Hopefully, when they open up the borders a little bit more between provinces and allow for a free trade access between all the provinces, you'll be able to see some magnificent foods come from all directions. I mean, there is some incredible entrepreneurs out there that make food that only their province gets to see. Doesn't get very far outside the province. I mean, last year, you'll have to pardon me on my timing. I had some brain surgery and I lost a bit of time, and getting some areas backed or confused is there. So time wise, I believe it was last year. BC was trying to get rid of some gorgeous blueberries. And I really wanted to do a blueberry nut. Um, and if I could process a large quantity of fruit at such great prices, why not? The problem was that I couldn't get them transported from there to here, without a huge cost. And both our sides were not willing to do that. So I'd like a little bit more. Or cranberries. This year in Ontario, it was kind of hard to find cranberries, but BC has a great cranberry bog. I know one in particularly, but they too use their cranberries in another direction than coming in this direction. So, yeah, I'd like a little bit more openness. I don't know about you. And what am I going to do in this podcast? I don't really know. This is the first one that I'm doing. I'm really interested in wanting to talk with um, other, and I got to figure out how to do that, but other entrepreneurs, get them hooked up in here, and we can ask them question, because there's some great ones. We could get some really good ones on finding out how they start, how they're working the business, how they're finding the business right now. Um, of course, January, February, March is slow for a lot of us. I'm doing okay. I'm my nuts are, we're getting orders in. We're not as busy as I like to be. So it's kind of hard when you do 4 months and you are running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and then all of a sudden, boom, you've got nothing. Although I don't really have nothing. I've got another farm that has about 10,000 to 15,000 pounds of hazelnuts that I need to husk. I need to get them out of the husk. Um, if anybody's interested in helping there, I could use your help. It's a tedious job, but we've got a lot of pounds to do. And in between my job here and running a family with a child with disabilities, I don't have much time to get the husking done. Um, but I'm working on it. I was going to go there today, but I got side swiped and ended up staying here on the farm. So I didn't get it done, but there is that part of my job as well. If you're wondering who I am Jules Under the Kilt, the nut lady. As I said at the beginning, you can look my website up. I grow and roast nuts here on my farm. Why did I do that? Good question. I was talking with so many entrepreneurs today, and most of them have a co-packer. Why didn't I go to a co-packer? Well, I didn't go to a co-packer because there isn't a co-packer that would be able to do a peanut-free, gluten-free, guaranteed nut. There are maybe two of us, maybe three peanut free, but very rare to find a gluten free nut. And you're wondering, why can't you have a gluten free nut? Because a lot of those flavors are made with glutens, which is very strange. And people don't really notice, but they're made with glutens or they're made with high sodiums. So here's my thoughts. Now I'm jumping all over because obviously this is my first podcast, and the next one I'm going to do more to kind of have exactly what I want to do. Maybe we're going to do a recipe with nuts, which would be great because I have a whole bunch. I just did a deconstructed uh, dumpling that I incorporated walnuts, salted roasted walnuts into the deconstruction. Oh, it was delicious. They were with pork. It was delicious. So we're going to do some recipes for sure in a podcast. We're going to do some recipes. But for now, let's just talk about roasting. So I started roasting, and I started roasting in the arena here in Fergus when I was told that when you go outside your county, you need to be in a commercial kitchen. So I could no longer go in my kitchen. I had to go to one that is a commercial kitchen. So the commercial kitchen closest to me is the one that's in the arena. So for years, I worked out of the arena until I was working almost 7 days a week in that arena. And I was competing with the Highland Games or the Fall Fair. And we were competing. I was audited with the CFIA in that kitchen, besides public health. They came and they, taught me all about what I need, how I can do my HACCP plan based on being over there in that commercial kitchen. And because I was doing it 7 days a week and I now was roasting almost every day as opposed to once a month or twice a month, I asked my partner to build us the building here. So we turned what was supposed to be a 2-car garage for my partner into my roastery. I still have that building today. So I put in a roaster. I have my tables in there. I have where I keep my nuts. My freezers are in there. Um, Lots of things. I have a sink. I have a hand washing station. I am public health goes in there. My audits are done in there. Um, I've had auditors watch us in there. Although, when you're getting audited in the middle of December, you don't want to be in the roastery unless we're actually making nuts. It's very, very cold in there. Um, but I built it myself. We built it ourselves because I just needed it. I still use the arena because I go there and I wash my nut bins because it's very important that we wash the oils out of the bins because we don't want to cross contaminate. I keep all our nuts separate. We keep them in the freezer so the oils can't have any chance to cause any problems with anybody else. And even though as I grow, it can become a problem because you've added more employees, I don't have a problem. We all follow the same routines and the same processes. It's getting a little hot in here. The same processes. Sorry, my hair is a little messy. Um, the same processes. So we roasted in there, and maybe I roasted every 2, 3 days, or every 4 days, or every other day, depending on what I had to do. At the beginning, we did a lot of markets. I was in like 7. I went to Amaranth, which was just a sports field and a little community center. Um, and it was kind of like Field of Dreams. You can build a farmer's market and people will come. Um, we even had a little hurricane come through and touch down in one of the vendors' area pretty close to his house, so he ran out of there. Grand Valley, I did a lot of things in Grand Valley. We did Aaron Farmers Market for a long time, one of my favorites. We did the first year. I ended up at the Little Royal or Aaron Fall Fair, and they had a little farmers market strip where I sold a lot of nuts over Thanksgiving. I made a new nut that time. I made apple pie pecan for that day. I sold out. I went back. I bagged some more. I roasted some more. And I was back the next day. So I think I roasted 2 days out of that entire Thanksgiving Day weekend. Was very exciting. And when I finished that event, I got a call from the Royal Winter Fair. Now that is my all-time favorite event, and I have been doing it for 11 years. I missed 1 year, 2024. I missed 1 year because I had the operation and I could not do the event. The year that I was having the problem, 2023, I did do the event. I actually won the sustainability award. It was amazing. I was so surprised and so excited to be acknowledged after being there for so long, and so proud to be a farmer and a farmer of nuts. I met so many people that have nuts and have planted nuts and grow some nuts and have them on their stands. It makes me happy every year to go to that event. So they gave me a call and said, "Hey, do you want a time? We've got space for you." So I ended up going. I didn't have any bags really at the just before I was going. Um, we didn't really have a name per se for the business, so I didn't really know what to do. So I was logging on the Ontario business page to log and register your business. And my partner was joking with me, and we've bantered back and forth by what we were going to call it. And so my partner said, I got it, I got it. It's Jewels Under the Kilt. And I said, you're right. And I typed it in and I sent it in and I paid my money and I registered the business as Jewels Under the Kilt. And I bought some bags that I thought nuts should go in, including the in shell. I put nuts in bags for the in shell. I took my little baskets and I took cardboard signs and I went with a table and I had a space way in the back where the dog show is now. They had a little animal farm there. It was freezing cold. It was snowy all the time. It was right by the exit door. And it was just six of us, three in the front and three in the back. And then it was just sort of two of us in the front and three of us in the back because the young baker in the middle decided he was going to move to another spot because he didn't know how to, he thought nobody was going to come. I had so much press that year that I was selling nuts all over Canada on a website that looked like it was a terrible website that I put quickly together. And I sold nuts to Nanubo. It was the longest distance place that I ever sold that first year. And I was selling right up until January 1st to people, which was amazing. I got, was in the national, what was that paper called? The National News, I forgot, National Post or something. I was in the Toronto Star. I still talk to those reporters. They still exist. It's so funny when we bump in. They're like, "Oh my goodness, you're still doing nuts. Do you remember?" And I do remember. I remember every article that was ever published at those early times. Um, and I had so much fun there. I roasted almost every other day because we ran out of nuts, and my partner had to come down and do it. We put a name tag on my daughter so she could go and play at Toyland without someone coming and chasing her around, wondering who she belonged to. Um, it was so much fun, and I continued to go there. I love to be there. Um, are my nuts different? Well, yes, and I can tell you why. My nuts are roasted with fresh vegetables and fresh fruit. That's what does my flavoring. It's actual fruit and vegetables. I take real watermelon, real pumpkin, real apples, and I roast it right on the nut. I know where I get those from. I grow them myself, or I have people like Mel Bailey from Erin who does my pears at most times and some apples. And I have ginger that I found at the Royal Farmers who grow ginger. That is so beautiful. I use the whole thing. I found a lot of my ingredient sources right at the Royal. I got asked by a few people if I sold my nuts wholesale. Um, and I said, yes, I do. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know if I could do it. I didn't know all the rules and the nuances. So I just did it. I still have a lot of those stores from that first Royal and from the first person who ever took one of my nuts. The first store that I actually ever had Jewels Under the Kilt in a bag with a sticker, generic mixed nut sticker that had Brazil nuts and cashews in the picture, with a hand printed label that said Jewels Under the Kilt and a sticker on the back that had my address, name, and phone number. Nothing else was Freybert's. Now, Freybert's is still one of my customers. As a matter of fact, I just loaded it all up today. I now have gone, and they have been with me from every stage, from when I got the bags finally stamped with our logo. It's an old logo. I can show you because I actually tattooed it, if you can believe it, because I believe in my brand. Can you see it right here? Here's the old logo right here. These acorns right here. This logo was stamped by Pacific Bag Company on my rice paper bags because I always was environmentally conscious. Um, and then we went to root tree bags, and we got Jewels Under the Kilt, this one right here, done. And then, it was a little bit crazy, and I had a little crazy time, and I went way off the mark of who we are as a brand and who we are as people. And I got something that looked like King Neptune met Little House on the Prairie. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not afraid of change because my dad always said was changing. He always believed in change. He was a major doctor. Then he went from a clinician to seeing patients and clinician to chancellor of medicine to running the hospitals to a huge uh, overseer of hospitals, um, to being CEO of an aquarium, to being on the board for women's basketball. He was just all about doing change and doing what you like. So I'm not afraid of change. Change is good. Change revs up your energy and changes the mood. What didn't work was that King Neptune Little House on the Prairie feel for the nuts, Okay. So back to the Royal. So that's how we got the start. So I got my first customer was Freybert's. And then every year I get a few more and a few more because they get given gifts of our nuts. And then those people call. And so literally every place up until a few years ago, every place was word of mouth. And then sort of COVID hit. And everybody went a little bit crazy. And, you heard that word, pivot. You got to pivot. Well, I don't really think small businesses pivot. I think they use their brain and they look at a different direction or outside the box of what they need to do to continue pushing their brand in the right direction. And so I made it through COVID. I got new stores. I just lowered the minimum and allowed stores wherever you were to take what you wanted. I loaded my nuts up on different people's websites. I did what I had to do, and I made it through. I had a store at the front here. I ran a store here when markets weren't available. And I did what you had to do to get your nuts going. So that's what I did. And then came out and I did some shows. And then I kind of was right in that transition zone, right? Where you're doing shows, consumer shows, a lot of consumer shows. And when consumers started to ask me, hey, what are you doing? Like, when's your next show? Where are you going to be? Where can I find a list of where all the things are you going to be doing? Are you going to be going to this show? Do you do this show? said to myself, it's time to not do so many consumer shows where I just do those shows to make my money. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But those shows are all consuming. And if you spend your life doing all those shows, it's a lot of packing up your car and having your boxes like in a ready to go and shove them in the car, and this is for this show, and this is a different setup because this is the way we are for this show. So it's just a lot of packing up, setting down, getting out. That's why I have my husband. He's the closer. Um, so I kept a few consumer shows because everyone should do consumer shows. Why? Because you meet the people who are having your product. So you should do consumer shows. So I do like to go. I still do the Royal. Um, I did it this year. I'm back. I love it. I did some farmers markets. I love those too. I picked up some old ones that I used to do. I went back in there. So I'm doing one or two a month. And then I love it. I love it. I get to meet you. I get to try out new products. Um, and then I went in and I said, let's do commercial shows. Let's do some trade shows now, where you're spending a lot of money to try to make money. So you're giving out a lot of samples, you're meeting a lot of people, you're trying to call those people back, you're trying to get them interested in you. Now, I'm a little different. I'm a little hard to get going, right? I'm a little different. And I don't think different is bad. Because I really say nuts to that. At Jules Under the Kilt, we value that. We learn every day the value of our unique perspective. Believe me, I am exactly what you see here is what you're going to find me at a trade show or at a consumer show. And I want to say the same about my nuts. Whatever you tasted there is what's going to be coming home with you. At least it should be. And if it's not, you better call me because I have some of the best customer service. So we're doing trade shows. So I'm a little different than most of the trade show people because I don't dress up. I don't put on clothes that I don't feel comfortable in. But I do believe in my brand. I think right now we're a very cohesive brand. We are together. You can't miss my boxes. More people don't worry about the name. It's who we are. It's Jules Under the Kilt. It's a sustainable life for my daughter who has UP syndrome. And if you don't know what that is, it's Down syndrome. And we can have a whole podcast about being the mother of a child with disabilities because I love talking about her. She's the only person next to my uncle who passed away that can make me cry. Um, she's the little CEO now. She's very important with the company. But I also get to hire. I get to hire kids with disabilities. I get to hire older women who want something to do. So I have a coffee circle, like a knitting circle, but I have like a coffee circle. They come here and they have a good time. They take a break from their life and have a good time. They still have something to give. And that's what makes me different. And that's what makes me passionate. But I am so passionate about the beauty of nuts and the beauty of my nuts. But all nuts are good. Okay, so let's get back on that topic before I go because we're getting close to the time. And we can talk more about this at another time, but this is the first podcast, so I just kind of want to put this out there. It's a little bit weird. All nuts are good. We've got the the McDonald's or Burger King of nuts. That's the old guys. That's the ones with the heavy salt and a lot of oil. And, you know, you just put them in your mouth and you're like going crazy. And then your whole tongue swells up in your lips. And the next morning you're like, you can't even bend your fingers. Now, even I eat those nuts because that they're comforting. There's something about them, right? McDonald's, every once in a while, you got to go for that burger. You know, that smash burger with all kinds of food. You got to have that one day of something. Okay? The next set is a dry roast. Okay? A dry roast. Now, that is much healthier for you. And they're right. It is. It is. Okay? Dry roast, fantastic. Okay? Great. But when they put stuff on it, they're losing some of the nutrition from inside the nut just on how they're doing. You know, you're putting bare nuts into an oven with a lot of heat and the oils come out to protect its body on the outside. And they're using that to put the stuff on. Not all of it is healthy, and not all of those nuts can be used again for like baking, crusting, topping, tossing, turning, you name it. Okay? And a lot of the salts still being used on a lot of those nuts are the ones that hit you right at the beginning of the tongue and burn that tongue so you just taste nothing. I wanted a nut, and I swear I make them for me, and I just hope everybody enjoys them. That's really what happens. Is I wanted a nut that tastes good, but I want to taste the nut. And I want to be able to use the nuts, like making apple pie pecan ravioli, which was delicious with an Alfredo sauce. Uh, I just did a fondue the other day, and I used spicy Caesar walnut, and I did chipotle pecan walnut as one of the scooper dippers instead of bread. For someone who's gluten free, it's delicious, and the fork went right in, and I just it was good. It was good. Uh, so we're gonna do recipes because I'm gonna show you can do recipes. Okay. I have the basic flavors. I have some interesting ones. I have some that we've put away. Like I don't make them, I just bring them out occasionally. Like I did a cheese festival and I brought out our nacho cheese and nutta pizza. Now those are two of our people love those. Okay, they love them. But I don't want to have that as a steady nut, and it does have cheese, so I have to roast it in a different area. And I don't want to have it on my roster of regular nuts, but I do bring it out as a specialty. I have, and I'm working on, and will be going on social media to ask people to be taste testers because I'm over the next 3 months. We will be coming out with a series of nuts, and I hope you like them. There's going to be 4 nuts in each of the series, and the look is going to be different. So I hope you really enjoy them. And I'm going to need testers for those. Okay. I'm doing some private labels for some people. We're working on one we've done already. They've already gone to market. They are very happy. It's more savory. It's delicious. Halifax honey. I am doing one for them, and I have to get that out. For Johanna, who I met through TikTok, I will be doing a wasabi pickle, or like a pickly one, but it is a pickle. And we will be doing that nut for her. because the pickle craze people were crazy, and I was way ahead of the game with that pickle one, and we did that pickle nut for 3 years. Um, but I stopped it, so I'm going to bring that one back. Uh, but we're going to Korea. I'm going to be hooking up because I want to talk to her. Korea, Mexico, India, and two more countries. And we're going to be doing a series of 4 nuts for each of those countries, and the look is going to be fabulous. I'm also working on some new innovation, and I want to bring out our nut butters. I ran them over the summer at one of our markets, and uh, believe me, when I got the buckets back, because we're going to put them in buckets, I was told that my nut butters are dangerous because they were found under the bed licking the bucket. Okay, I'm not kidding you. And that was the husband. So I'm just telling you, honestly, our nut butters are delicious. So I hope you're going to want to try some of those. To all my nut friends and to anybody who wants to who will be listening to this podcast, it's going to get a little bit better because I'm going to be more organized, but I wanted to try at least one. So I hope you enjoyed this 30 minutes, and I will see you nut time. Okay? It's the Nut Lady, and I'm out.